At my birthday dinner, Mom leaned over to Dad. "Since everyone's here, have your son change the locks at her apartment." My brother quietly got up and left. An hour later, he came back ghost white and whispered, "Mom, someone's there." Someone was there. 3 people, actually. The building superintendent, a city housing investigator, and the attorney for the nonprofit that owned my apartment. They were standing beneath the hall camera when my brother Aaron arrived with a drill, a replacement deadbolt, and a work order carrying my forged signature. But at the birthday table, nobody knew that yet. My mother, Denise, kept slicing roast as if she had only asked Aaron to pick up ice. My stepfather, Paul, pushed peas around his plate. My Aunt Marcy asked whether we should light the candles without him. I smiled, folded my napkin, and said Aaron hated being sung to anyway. The hardest part was not showing that I had heard my mother. It was hearing her call the apartment hers. I had lived at Harbor House for almost 5 years. The renovated brick school belonged to a nonprofit offering stable leases to hospital workers, teachers, and single parents. I qualified after my divorce because I worked full-time as a respiratory therapist. Denise had never paid my rent or watched Lily during my night shifts. Still, she spoke as if she had allowed me to live there. That belief had started with a blue ceramic key bowl. When I moved in, Denise gave me a chipped blue bowl painted with white birds. She placed it beside my door and dropped the spare key inside. "Family should always know where the extra is," she said. 3 weeks before my birthday, I came home after a double shift and found the blue bowl turned sideways. The spare key was gone. In its place sat a folded grocery receipt from a store near my mother's house. I called her before I even took off my shoes. "Did you borrow my key?" She laughed softly. "Why would I need to borrow a key you gave me?" "The spare from the bowl. Maybe Lily moved it. Children touch everything." Lily was 9, not 3, and she had spent that night with her father. Nothing looked stolen, but my lease binder was on the wrong shelf. A photograph of my late grandmother June lay face down on my desk. Behind the frame, I kept a cream envelope containing Grandma June's letter and original Harbor House membership certificate. Grandma had helped establish the nonprofit, and her certificate gave one named descendant the right to apply for a protected lease. She named me. The envelope was gone. Denise called back before I could call her again. "By the way," she said, sweet enough to make my shoulders tighten, "Aaron and Beth are having a terrible time finding a place before the baby comes. You should be grateful you never had to struggle like that." I looked at the empty space behind Grandma's photograph. "I struggled plenty." "Not really, Claire. You were handed that apartment." Denise had married my father when I was 7. After he died, she married Paul, yet still called herself keeper of everything Townsend, including what Grandma had placed beyond her reach. I asked if she had been inside my apartment. "You sound tired," she said. "Sleep before you say something ugly." Then she hung up. I changed the lock without telling her. The superintendent, Mr. Alvarez, installed a registered key cylinder and showed me the entry log. My old spare had opened the building twice while I was at the hospital. "Want me to pull the hallway footage?" he asked. I said yes. The camera missed the first entry. During the second, a woman in Denise's Sunday coat walked toward my door carrying a grocery bag. Her face was partly hidden, but I knew her. I saved the clip. At work, I watched small changes in breathing numbers. You do not shout at the monitor. You document and wait for the pattern. The next sign arrived in my mailbox. Harbor House thanked me for my advance notice of voluntary move-out. My lease would end in August, then transfer to Aaron and his wife Beth. The attached paper form carried my name in blue ink. The signature leaned too far right and was dated on a Monday when I had spent 13 hours inside an isolation room. Upstairs, the blue key bowl waited beside my door, empty. Resident Services Manager Kendra Price locked the file, canceled the move-out, and scheduled a review. "Did you authorize your mother to act for you?" she asked. "No." "Did you give your brother permission to take the unit?" "No." Someone attached a family consent letter. It says all living descendants agree. My father had been Grandma's only child. Denise was not a descendant, and Aaron was her son from her first marriage. We grew up as siblings, but he had no legal connection to Grandma. At the review, Kendra compared the archive certificate with Aaron's copy. His used the same number and seal, but a typed strip covered my name. Eligible household descendants as designated by Denise Townsend. Denise had promoted herself into Grandma's place with a printer and glue. Kendra touched the altered line with one fingernail. "This is a physical collage," she said. "Someone scanned it afterward to make it look flat. Can you tell who submitted it?" "The packet came through a document courier. The cover sheet lists a family services company." The company was Townsend Home Support, my mother's small business. Townsend Home Support helped older clients with mail and forms. Aaron did repairs. Paul kept the books. Together, they knew how to make false paper look routine. I asked Kendra for one day before calling the attorney because I needed to understand the motive. That answer began at a school fundraiser. Lily's elementary school held a spring literacy night in the gym. Parents bought used books. Children wore paper crowns, and volunteers read stories into a microphone that kept squealing. Denise arrived uninvited with Aaron's wife Beth, carrying matching bakery boxes. Beth was 7 months pregnant. She hugged me too long and said, "I hope there are no hard feelings about the move." "What move?" Her face changed. Denise stepped between us so smoothly it looked rehearsed. "Claire hasn't told Lily yet," she said. "She wants to wait until the school year ends." The principal, 2 teachers, and 3 parents were standing close enough to hear. Denise lowered her voice only after the damage was done. "Transitions are difficult for children." Lily looked up from her book table. "We're moving?" I felt every adult near us become polite slightly interested in something else. No, I said, we are not. Denise gave me a patient smile. This is why I asked you not to make a scene. I had not raised my voice. Beth gripped the bakery box against her stomach. Aaron said the apartment was settled. It belongs to Harbor House. My lease is not settled for anyone. My mother glanced toward the principal and delivered the line she had clearly brought with her. Some women confuse being independent with being the only person whose needs matter. It was clean, soft, devastating. The kind of sentence that made strangers wonder what selfish thing I had done before they arrived. Lily stared at the floor. That hurt more than Denise's words. I took my daughter by the hand and left the gym before the first reading began. In the car, Lily asked whether Grandma Denise could make us leave. No, she said Uncle Aaron needs our rooms because of the baby. I turned toward her. When did she say that? Last Saturday, when she picked me up. Denise was not on the approved pickup list. I drove back to the school and asked to see the sign-out record. The office aide, Mrs. Coleman, pulled the tablet history. Denise had collected Lily during aftercare the previous Saturday, using a printed emergency authorization with my signature. There was no Saturday aftercare. The date was from 2 weeks earlier. The afternoon Denise had entered my building for almost an hour. Lily had been at a school art workshop. Denise signed her out early, took her to my apartment, and returned her before I finished my shift. Lily remembered sitting on the couch with a coloring book while Denise photographed papers. She said it was a treasure hunt, Lily whispered. I submitted a new security instruction before leaving the office. Only Lily's father and I could pick her up. No handwritten notes, no phone changes, photo identification every time. Then I sat in my car and cried where my daughter could not see me. Was I wrong for feeling that the school scene hurt worse than the stolen paper? If you think protecting Lily without arguing in that gym was the right choice, leave a like so I know other women understand why I walked away. If you would have handled it differently, you can tell me gently in the comments. At Sunday brunch, Denise placed my blue key bowl in the center of her table and claimed I had left it there. Then she explained my future as if it were settled. Aaron and pregnant Beth would take Harbor House. Lily and I would move to a distant duplex. Grandma named me, I said, because you worked on her when she was old and sentimental. There was her resentment. Denise had cared for Grandma and expected every reward to pass through her hands. Still, it did not explain the urgency. When Aaron reached for his coat, a yellow envelope fell from his pocket. He snatched it up, but I saw the return address and the line beneath it. Franklin County Civil Division. Notice of property seizure. The county docket showed that Aaron's contracting business had lost a lawsuit after taking deposits for remodels he never finished. Townsend Home Support was also named because his client payments had moved through Denise's account. A protected Harbor House lease could not be sold or seized. My home was meant to shelter them from consequences. But that docket did not prove who forged my signature. The nonprofit's attorney, Simone Brooks, preserved the courier records and original packet before anyone was accused. The pickup log showed Aaron handed over the papers at Denise's office. Then a document examiner recovered writing impressed into the move-out form from a page once placed above it. Replace cylinder before birthday dinner, the line said. Blue bowl key may no longer work. Below it was a locksmith's number. The company confirmed an appointment at my address, booked under my name and paid with Townsend Home Support's card. The caller claimed I had cognitive problems and my family had authority while I attended a birthday gathering. Denise planned to change my lock, move Aaron's boxes inside, and present Harbor House with a finished fact. The locksmith relied on a false management letter made from letterhead in my lease binder. Denise also held Grandma's original certificate. Harbor House scheduled a fire safety inspection for my birthday evening. Mr. Alvarez would be inside with permission, while a city investigator and Simone observed. If Aaron arrived with authority, he could show it. If he arrived with a drill and a lie, the camera would show that. My mother spent the next week behaving like a woman polishing silver before a storm. She called my aunt, cousins, and 2 of Grandma's old friends. She moved my birthday dinner from Saturday to Thursday, so everyone could witness a fresh family start. She asked 3 times whether Lily would attend. I said Lily had a sleepover. At the hospital, an anonymous email claimed I was confused and unsafe around patients. It used Denise's favorite phrase, Claire becomes dramatic when she is overtired. My supervisor, Dana, saw the forged move-out form, protected my schedule, and marked the complaint as possible retaliation. My mother had tried to make her locksmith story true by damaging my career. 2 days before dinner, Beth came to measure the nursery with an old key Denise had given her. It did not work. Aaron said you wanted a smaller place. Did I ever say that to you? No. Did you sign the transfer packet? She admitted signing one page that Denise called a household form. I showed her the altered certificate and judgment. Then Beth told me Aaron had used her savings for his attorney. I didn't know. Before leaving, she forwarded Denise's shared family calendar. My birthday entry had a hidden note. Claire away from unit. Aaron and locksmith at 7. Paul brings certificate to Harbor office Friday morning. She also sent Denise's voice message. Once his boxes are inside, Claire won't drag a pregnant woman onto the sidewalk. She cares too much about looking good. Denise was using Beth's pregnancy as a shield, my reputation as a restraint, and my apartment as Aaron's legal bunker. Beth drove to her sister's house and called a lawyer. I sent everything to Simone. On my birthday, I took Lily to her father's house. She had packed the blue bowl without telling me. It belongs at home, she said. I set it beside the new lock. Empty no longer looked like missing. It looked like a decision. Denise's dinner started at 6. Everyone was seated when I arrived, including Grandma's 2 old friends. Denise wanted witnesses to my supposed instability. She hugged me at the door and whispered, "Tonight can be easy if you let it. I hope it is." Aaron avoided my eyes. Paul checked his watch. When Aunt Marcy asked about Lily, Denise announced that she was having a difficult week with all the changes. "There are no changes," I said. Denise smiled at the table. "See what I mean? We cannot mention anything without upsetting her." The public judgment had been arranged before dinner. Denise told Grandma's friends I had outgrown Harbor House, and Aaron had greater need. Repeated around a table, it sounded official. At 7, her phone lit up. She read the message and leaned toward Paul. "Since everyone's here, have your son change the locks at her apartment." Paul pressed his lips together. Then he touched Aaron's wrist. Aaron quietly got up and left. My aunt asked whether he was feeling sick. "Work emergency," Denise said. She brought out the cake but left the candles dark. She wanted Aaron in the photograph while my home changed hands. As the minutes passed, Mrs. Green asked whether I had found another apartment. "No," I said. "I am staying in mine." Denise cut in. "Claire, not tonight. You invited the question." An hour after Aaron left, the front door opened. He came back ghost white, still holding the drill case. He walked straight to Denise and bent toward her. "Mom, someone's there." "The city. Harbor House's lawyer. They have the order and the recording. They took the drill, Mom. The work order has Claire's signature." Denise looked at me. I placed my phone beside my plate. When Simone called, I answered on speaker. "Claire, the attempted unauthorized entry is documented," she said. "Mr. Alvarez has secured your unit. The investigator will submit the forged transfer packet, the false management letter, and tonight's work order to the county. You can remain where you are. Your home is safe." Denise stood so quickly her chair struck the cabinet. "You set up your own brother." "No, I stayed at the dinner you planned. You knew he was going. I heard you send him." Mrs. Green turned toward Denise. "You used June's certificate?" That question frightened my mother more than the city investigator. Denise said Aaron needed help. Beth was pregnant, and I had options. Then Beth entered with her sister and a file. Denise had told everyone she was resting. "I am not moving into Claire's home," Beth said. Aaron stared at her. Beth placed the hidden calendar entry in proof that Aaron had taken her savings on the table. "And I am not being used as the reason you steal it." Paul sank back into his chair. Aunt Marcy read aloud the line about bringing Grandma's certificate to Harbor House. Mrs. Green asked where the original was. Denise said nothing. Paul looked at the table, then at Aaron, and finally at me. "It's in the office safe," he said. "Denise took it from Claire's apartment." "You weak man." Paul nodded once. "Yes." Simone heard him through the phone. "Mr. Ellis," she said, "please do not move or destroy that certificate. The investigator will contact you tonight." Denise reached for my phone. I picked it up before she touched it. "Everything I did was to keep this family standing," she said. "You tried to make Lily homeless to keep Aaron from answering a court judgment. You would have landed somewhere." She said it with exhausted annoyance, as if my daughter and I were luggage. Mrs. Green removed her napkin from her lap and placed it beside her plate. "June was right about you," she said. Denise's face changed. "What does that mean?" Mrs. Green looked at me. "Your grandmother asked us to witness the certificate because she said Denise would try to redirect anything she could not control. The 2 women had signed a sealed statement confirming Grandma chose me, and no caregiver could alter it. Simone had taken their statements that afternoon. Denise invited an audience. Instead, she seated her own witnesses. I stood and took my coat. "The certificate goes back tonight. You do not contact Harbor House, my hospital, Lily's school, or me. If you need to communicate about the investigation, you use your lawyer. I am your mother. You were my stepmother. You became my mother because I trusted you. That was a relationship, not a permanent access code." Aaron whispered my name. I looked at his drill case. "You came to remove my lock while Lily was away. Nothing you can say tonight belongs to me." Beth left with me. Outside, Beth cried in her sister's car. I gave her Simone's card but promised no friendship. She told me Lily deserved better than all of us. The fallout arrived through appointments, certified letters, and people choosing different chairs. The county charged Denise with forgery, attempted unlawful entry, and filing false documents. Aaron admitted knowing I had not approved the transfer. His civil judge ordered a full accounting of both businesses. Townsend Home Support lost its county contract and several clients. Paul surrendered the cream envelope, certificate, and office computer. He left Denise before winter, but I did not invite him into my life. Late truth did not erase his help. Beth separated from Aaron and recovered part of her savings. She named her daughter June, which I learned from Aunt Marcy. Denise sent 3 letters blaming stress, Aaron, and finally me. I returned them unopened through her attorney. Harbor House sealed the certificate in its archive, displayed a copy beside Grandma's photograph, and required in-person verification for every move-out. My mother's false packet changed the system, just not in the way she intended. The hospital cleared me. Lily's school apologized and required photo identification for early pickups. Our lives became safer in small, boring ways. One Saturday, Lily and I carried the blue key bowl into the Harbor House courtyard. The chip was still there. The painted birds were faded from years of fingers and dust. "Do we throw it away?" she asked. I thought about the spare key Denise had taken, the forged papers, the drill beside Aaron's chair. "No," I said. "We give it a better job." We filled it with soil and planted basil. By summer, green leaves crowded over the rim and hid the empty place where a key used to wait for anyone who called herself family. My registered key stays on a plain steel ring in my pocket. There is no spare beside the door. At night, Lily reads on the couch while the old-school radiators knock inside the walls. I water the basil, turn the deadbolt once, and hear the clean click of a home that answers only to the people who